we have learnt about China. The national liberation movements in college, one of the country that is China. Now let us learn about one more Asian country, that is Vietnam. You know that Vietnam would be in the shape of yes in the world map. So this Vietnam, it fought for its own independence against two powerful regimes. Can you imagine? Very strong willpower, strong nationalistic fervor made them to fight against two powerful colonizers. Actually, Vietnam is very important for the production of agricultural products, because the important resource of Vietnam is Mekong River. The Mekong Delta, most fertile delta, it is used for the production of the agricultural products. And by looking on to that, French people, they have colonized this Vietnam. When French has colonized the Vietnam, they wanted to make Vietnam as a very important producer of the agricultural products. For that, they have adopted three important steps. For the promotion of agriculture in Vietnam, they have adopted three important steps. The first step is by the promotion of the irrigation. The second step is encouraging the landlords for more and more production in the lands. Third one is improving the marketing. So, irrigation, how they wanted to develop the irrigation? By digging more and more canals, and encourage the landlords to go with the land leveling, improving the land soil fertility, or investing more money. Like this, they encourage the landlords to go for the cash crops. And the third thing is for marketing, agricultural marketing. They have adopted the construction of the railways. You know, children, that they have constructed the railways that they are called as that is Trans-Indo-China Railways, connecting the north to south. The north to south of Vietnam were connected through the railway, such that the products can immediately be transported to the nearby areas wherever they want. Like this, they wanted to export. That is the reason that Vietnam became the third largest rice exporter in the world by exporting 2/3 of its production. And how how the French people could achieve this means all whatever that they did, these things are with the help of the bonded labor of the people, those who are living in this Vietnam only. Means they used the Vietnam labor, they used the Vietnam peasants, they used the Vietnam people as the bonded labor for the construction of the canals or for the construction of the railways, and made the lives of the people very miserable. You can see even the lives of the peasants were also miserable. That means the peasants, in almost all the very important areas of Vietnam, you can see that 53% of the peasants were landless. 53% of the people were landless in Annam. 58% of the people were landless in Tonkin, and 79% of the people were landless in Cochin, China. Means you can see very clearly that they were not at all given any rights on the land. And the French, they did not develop any industry in this Vietnam. Why? Because if industries are improved, automatically the people will get good employment opportunities, which may not allow them to colonize more. And that is the reason that the people and their life were miserable during this particular period. And these particular conditions, during these particular conditions, the peasants, they don't have other option than to work as a laborer in the hands of these people. Now that means French. Now what happened? French people, they needed some clerks to work in their factories, work in their establishments, because they can't import everyone from France to work for them. They needed some local people who will be working as a clerks with a little education. They don't want to provide a complete education. They don't want to provide a complete knowledge, but they wanted to provide a little knowledge. And why they were afraid to provide complete knowledge to the Vietnam people? If Vietnam people gets education, they may question each and everything, and they may ask the French people regarding their justiciable rights. That is the first thing. Second thing is, the French people, those are living in Vietnam, they already have jobs like lawyers, teachers, doctors, or they have certain jobs. They may lose their jobs. So the French people, those who are living in Vietnam, who are called as the colons, they also discouraged the French people to take a decision to promote the education in Vietnam. Hence, the French people, they have introduced the education by using French language. For that, what did they say? They said simply that French are the most civilized and the Vietnamese are uncivilized. To get a civilization, these Vietnam people, they should get the education in the civilized language of the French, and in the form of that they started encouraging the people to go with the French language education. What is the inner meaning of that? Nobody can understand the language, French language, very fast, hence they may not get promoted very fast. That is the reason most of the people, they used to stay back in the before the primary education, or they are unable to enter into the secondary education. And even if somebody wanted to get promotion also, they were stopped by these by the French people. The French people, while they are framing the curriculum, while they are rating the textbooks, they glorified themselves. They glorified themselves, the French, as if they were the angels to provide civilization to these uneducated, uncivilized and barbaric Vietnamese people. Like that, they have exposed themselves as the most civilized and most developed people. Like that, they glorified and they have prepared the textbooks. But you know very well that the teachers of Vietnam, they are not that fools. They understood the real intention of the people. So when they entered into the classes, they started teaching the reality to the people. What exactly is happening in the country. And they improved the nationalistic fervor and they improved the patriotic feelings among the people. So with these patriotic feelings and the nationalistic fervors, the students of Vietnam, when they came out, they went to the other countries, they got education and they improved their own knowledge to fight the France. And another thing is, they also started the parties, the political parties or the organizations, students organizations, like Young Annam or Enemy Student, that is journals, to spread these nationalistic ideologies among all the people. With all these things, totally the Vietnam people, they got enlightened. Some of the people, some of the students, they went to Japan, they went to Russia, they even visited China. When they went to China, they understood that the establishment of Republic by Sun Yat-sen, how well that is there. So even they wanted to have a republican form of government in Vietnam. For that they started, they wanted to go with that. At that particular time, one very famous intellectual, that is by name Ho Chi Minh, he has established the party, that is Vietnamese Communist Party. Vietnamese Communist Party was established in the year 1930. And this Vietnamese Communist Party, it has changed its name, of course, Indochina Communist Party later, and are the same. These parties, they started spreading the ideologies. At this particular junction, 1940, Japan attacked this Vietnam. As a part of its imperialistic aspirations, Japan started attacking onto this Vietnam. And to protect from Vietnam, now the Ho Chi Minh, he has established a very strong army. Means by collecting all the peasants and by collecting the youngsters, he has formed a important organization, Viet Minh. What is that? Viet Minh. With the help of the Viet Minh, he fought against this country, that is Japan. When Japan attacked onto Vietnam, French has to go back. French, they did not concentrate here because they have to protect their interest in Europe, so they receded back. Now, by successfully fighting this Japan, and they are able to win the or occupy the Hanoi in the year 1945. With this, Viet Minh was successful in preventing or in protecting the country from Japan and also from France, and established a country, independent country in the year 1945. When he became the premier, immediately Ho Chi Minh introduced many of the land reforms. The land reforms were introduced by reducing the rents by 25%. All the secondary rents were cancelled. The dues, whatever the dues were there, even they were cancelled. With all these steps, or with the land reforms, Ho Chi Minh, he started implementing the land reforms, and he started becoming the national hero. Now here comes the twist. What is that? That is 1945, Hanoi was captured and they established. But see, during the period 1940, when Japan attacked, French, they did not go back. Some of the French allied, they were staying back in the South Vietnam, and these French, those who are staying back, staying in this particular area, that is in South Vietnam, now with the help of a bold emperor, they started attacking onto the Viet Minh for occupying the power. So for continuously 9 years, 1945 to 1954, the French and Vietnam were engaged in the war. They were continuously in the war, and Viet Minh, they finally have defeated France. And with this, the French people, they have to recede back. And 1954, a treaty was concluded in the place that is Geneva in Switzerland. And at this Geneva conference, in this Geneva Peace Treaty, these countries, they have to accept that Vietnam should be divided into two parts. One is North Vietnam and the other one is the South Vietnam. North Vietnam came under the sway of the communist Ho Chi Minh, and the South Vietnam went into the hands of the old emperor, and like this the Vietnam has been divided into two parts. Now when Vietnam got divided into two parts, immediately now, that is in the North Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, he started implementing very strict principles of confiscating the lands from the landlords and redistributing. With this policy, many of the peasants, they got the lands. And in the South Vietnam, what is the position? South Vietnam, and that old emperor was removed, and Ngo Dinh Diem became the ruler or emperor, we can say. So this Ngo Dinh Diem, he was very conservative, and he was ruling the country in a very traditional or in a very authoritarian method. This was not acceptable to the people, those who are observing that developments in the North Vietnam, how North Vietnam was developing, how the North Vietnam was having a socialistic pattern of society, how the North Vietnam peasants are living a very peaceful life. All these things, when they observed, they wanted to go with a development, and hence they have formed themselves into an organization, that is a National Liberation Front. So a National Liberation Front was organized, and this National Liberation Front, they started fighting against the authoritarian rule of the emperor. Now this was support, they wanted the support from the Viet Minh, or they wanted the support from the North Vietnam. But USA observed this, you can say that USA was observing this, and it got somewhat fear, because Ho Chi Minh means he is observing the socialistic principles or communist principles. Means if the communist principles start spreading in the world, that may cause reduction in the powers of the capitalist, or capitalism may get affected. Hence, to stop this socialistic developments, the USA entered into the war on behalf of the North Vietnam. On behalf of the South Vietnam, against the North Vietnam, That is, now a war was inevitable between NLF of South Vietnam Emperor encouraged by USA. And in this war, very cruel incidences took place. That most of these NLF warriors, they have hidden themselves in the jungles and the hills, and they started attacking onto the American soldiers in a guerrilla warfare method, with which the Americans, they could not win the war. They thought that this can be done within a short span of time, but they are unable to do that. For that, they have used Agent Orange, which was stored in a drum, which was completely banded with a orange ribbon. So it was called as Agent Orange. And this Agent Orange, it is a plant defoliant. It kills all the plants such that the jungles would become virgin, so that they can easily identify the NLF warriors. And at the same time, they have used the B-52 planes to pour this particular chemical onto all the hills and the jungles. They have used the napalm bombs. They have used the phosphorus bombs. Everything. That means all the things, all the weapons that were used, they wanted to destroy total Vietnam. It was a terrible period from 1955 to 1975, 20 years, a terrible period for the Vietnam. Not only Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, every country which was surrounding that particular Vietnam was in turmoil at that particular period. And the peasants, those who achieved that land, with the help of the land reforms introduced by Ho Chi Minh, they don't want to lose their land rights, and hence they bravely participated, either life or the victory. Like that, they participated in that particular war and fought against the Americans very, very successfully. Here, the cruelty of USA was visible even to the world. And finally, in the year 1975, an agreement was signed at Paris. 1974, Paris Treaty was signed. But even then, this NLF, they are unable to occupy Saigon. So they continued the war, and finally in the year 1975, with the occupation of Saigon, they have unified both North Vietnam and South Vietnam, and became the winners of the independence for their country. So children, you can see that the reason for the success of Viet Minh was, the first one is strong patriotic and nationalistic feelings. Second one is the successful implementation of the land reforms gave power to the peasants to fight even the strongest. That is, even America, they have underestimated the power of these Viet Minh. So you can see all these things have finally resulted in the developments of the movements in the countries, which fought relentlessly with the most powerful countries. See, otherwise, what is this, children? That is, Agent Orange, when it was poured from the plains onto the hills and the jungles, did it destroy only that particular jungles? No, it has spoiled the environment, causing long-term cancers. It also has caused a damage to the lives of the people, those who are living in the surrounding areas. Do you know that the estimated loss of the life in this particular, that is in this American war, was almost from 1965 to 1972. 1965 to 1972, 34 lakhs US service personnel, they have participated in the war. 34 lakh people, US people, they participated in the Vietnam War, and 47,244 of the Vietnam people, they died in the war. 47, almost 50,000 people, and 3,03,000 were wounded. 3,03,700 were wounded. In that, almost you will see that 23,000 people were 23,000 people were almost they were on the deathbed only. Of course, they were wounded, but they were on the deathbed. That means you can see the cruelty of the war. War is always destructive. Remember this, war is always destructive. But they fought the war for the sake of their own country. What is the difference between China and Vietnam? Chinese, they won that independence in a democratic manner. But Vietnam, they have to fight, but they fought and won the independence. Different methods were adopted. Okay, children. Now we will see that Nigeria. Now we will learn about Nigeria. As I already told you that we are going to learn about different countries which fought for their independence from the colonies, from the colonial masters. So one of the colony was Nigeria, which is an African country. You see here, this particular African country, Nigeria, it is located on the banks of the river Niger. Actually, this on the banks of the river Niger, whatever the areas that are there, they are united by the British to call it as Nigeria. Nigeria is not a single nation. It is united by the British to call it as a Nigeria. It has got separated. Actually, it is having three different existence countries, areas. Hausa Fulani, the north, the southeast Igbo, and the southwest is Yoruba. That means three different regions, three different tribal people are living in this particular part, that is Nigeria. And these three different regions, they are located along the river Niger. They are located along the river Niger. Now the Britishers, they have united all these three regions and they called this particular area as the Nigeria. Nigeria from the beginning is a very good supplier of the slaves for the different that is North America or South America. The Europeans, they used to go for the slave trade. After the abolition of the slave trade, they understood that this particular region is a very, very important region and a potential region for the production of agriculture, because it is located along the river Niger. Hence, they started using this particular area for the production of cocoa, palm oil, like this. So, with this, it became a very strong producer of these items. Now at this particular junction, that is after the abolition of the slave trade, the Britishers, they used these areas at their will, because you see these Hausa Fulani or Yoruba or Igbo tribe, these people are ignorant and innocent. They are very far away from the modern changes, industrialization or the modern changes that took place in the world. Hence, they wanted only a very few needs which they are able to meet from their local resources. Hence, for simplest payments, they used to give away huge amounts of the resources. Like that, the resources of Nigeria were completely exploited by the British during this particular period. And at that particular time only, in the world there came one famous slogan, that is Pan-Africanism. What do you mean by Pan-Africanism? Pan-Africanism means uniting all the Africans, Africa for Africans. Means many of the African countries, they were controlled by the European nations. Now they started recognizing that Africa should be ruled only by the African people, the Europeans should be removed. And this is uniting all the Africans irrespective of the religion, region or the zone. So uniting all the Africans, Pan-Africanism, this was proposed by Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. Ghana has proposed this Pan-Africanism, getting influenced from that Pan-Africanism. One of the intellectual, of course he is a British intellectual, but he found a party, that is Nigerian National Democratic Party, in the year 1923. And this NNDP, they participated in the elections also. They participated in the elections from 1923 onwards. You can see very clearly that 1923, 1928, 1933 continuously they won the elections. They won the elections. And they are able to form the government. But here comes the problem, that is, though they won the elections, Herbert Macaulay, he is unable to fulfill the needs of the people, because of course Britishers has colonized this area, and they won the elections, but the problem is they could not take any independent decisions. Herbert Macaulay is unable to take independent decisions. And one more thing is, he can do very little for the improvement of the conditions of the people. And at that particular time only, you can see that one more party, that is the Nigerian Youth Movement, was established by Nnamdi Azikiwe in the year 1936. In the year 1936, Nnamdi Azikiwe, he has formulated that Nigerian youth movement, and they started fighting for the pan-Nigerianism. That means he got influenced by, of course, Herbert Macaulay first implemented that, but he was more influenced by that Nnamdi Azikiwe. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Herbert Macaulay, together they have started fighting for the independence, complete independence of Nigeria from the clutches of the British. So they have combined their particular two parties. What are the two parties? NNDP and NYM, and they have established one common party, that is called as the National Council of Nigerian and Cameroons. National Council of Nigeria and Cameroons was formed in the year 1944. So NCNC has come into existence from 1944, and strongly they started promoting the ideals of democracy, the ideals of equality, the ideals of freedom, etc. and etc. And by getting influenced from these active motivation of these parties, or by the motivation from these areas, there was a radical strike that was organized in the year 1945 by the people for some more rights. By observing all these things, the Britishers, they understood that it is very essential now to give independence to them. Actually, if you see, the Britishers, they used their policy of divide and rule back, that is 1910 and 1920. At that particular time only, they have divided these people based upon their culture, that is that north, southeast, southwest, like that they have divided. The divide and rule policy was successfully implemented. Now that particular divide and rule policy, which was followed by Britishers, it has worked out on preventing these areas to get united. Because Asa Fulani, being the follower of the Islamic traditions, they are unable to understand, or they are unable to cope up with the modern changes. Whereas Yoruba and Igbo, these two, as they got more and more education with the help of the Christianity, that is missionaries, they are able to cope up with the modern world. And these are the different things that made the clashes between north, southeast, southwest, and due to that regional parties have emerged. The regional party that has come into existence in the Asa Fulani was Northern People's Congress, and in the Igbo tribe, that is NCNC, National Council of Nigeria and Cameroons, and Yoruba was the AZ, that is Action Group. Like this, three different regional parties have come, and these three regional parties, internal clashes were there, and that is the reason, though Britishers gave independence by October 1st, 1963, they are unable to form a strong democratic nation. And internal fights were there. You can see that Biafran war was there. More and more, this Igbo tribe, they wanted that the Igbo region, whatever the resources are there, that should be used only for the sake of the Igbo region, but should not be used for the total Nigeria. As the Nigerian government was using for all the total Nigeria, there was a civil war between Nigerian government and the Igbo region, that is Biafra region. So Biafarian war occurred in the world, and that is in that particular area. So like this, there were internal problems, and the democracy could not be established until 1990. One more dimension is that is during 1950, mineral oil or this crude oil reserves were found in Nigeria, and for the sake of that, they have the MNCs, those who have come, they have increased the squabbles, or they have increased the internal disputes between all these regions. The MNCs, their reckless extraction of the oil has caused damage to the environment. The environment, especially that very important mangrove forests that are existing in Nigeria, they were damaged. They were damaged. You see here that mangrove forests, which are very, very important forest wealth, of that 5 to 10% of the forests were completely removed by this oil extraction. Second thing is contamination of the water, causing damage to the aqua of that particular area. Third thing is it has caused damage to the coastal area people. It also destroyed the life of the people, those who are living in the coastal regions.